Welcome, my friends. Thank you for joining me. It is Wednesday night, 7 o'clock. It's time to zoom into wine. I hope everyone's doing well. Got a great show for you tonight. And we always try to pack it with really amazing wine information and taste some exceptional wines. And tonight is no exception to that idea. We've got a night of incredible Rhones, Rhones from around the world, kind of tasting a little sampling of things from everywhere from Greece to Australia to Santa Barbara. We throw in a bunch of different stuff. What else we got? Spain, Napa. It's pretty dynamic. But the idea came from the fact that when you buy wine, you look at your totality of your inventory in a particular grape variety. Man, I have bought so much great Syrah. So I want to show you a couple of things here as we get started. Let's see. I did a little search to be able to look at. So let's see, open that up a little bit bigger. There we go. Just a few of the Rhône grape varietals. There's approximately 33 the last time I counted them all. Some of them are much more, uh, you know, uh, prolific than others, but these are the major ones: Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre, Cinsault, Carignan, Counois. Those take up the majority of the oxygen. There's some white varietals too that are considered Rhone. Of course, we're talking about the Rhone Valley in France, where these grape varieties thrive. But there's some very famous wines. Grenache, typically from the south of the Rhone, Syrah from the north, and then there's some blends in between all around. Mourvèdre has been coming on in a big way, and you'll find Mourvèdre in a number of other places. And some people will tell you, "Oh, Mourvèdre's the best grape variety, and the best wines are made from Mourvèdre." That's a very personal thing. I'm not going to get into that argument at all, but just know that that argument exists. Syrah, Grenache, Mourvèdre, the GSM or SGM or MSG, whatever order you'd like to put it in, exists. So let's begin our show tonight and get some wine rolling. There's our Rhones of the world. Oh yeah, Washington. We're going to go from Washington to Greece, Australia to Paso, and Spain to Santa Barbara. I put them in a fairly logical order based on price point, based on some expectations. But we're going to start off with a wild one. This wine came into my life because I love Greek wines. I love going to Greece, plan to go to Greece, and we started accumulating quite a nice Greek selection years ago. Well, that's been paying off recently. I think a lot of people went to Greece this summer because the portion of our wine sales pie that is going to Greece is getting quite robust. So you'll see a more healthier selection as well. And we're talking about all price points. When Greek wines were first, probably your first Greek wine was probably introduced to you, it was kind of a value wine because that's always the way, a country can come into the United States is to be cheaper than anything else. And those aren't really the greatest expressions. They're just good values. But somehow Greece has figured out how to come in on the other side. We're talking about some really expensive wine, some nice, high quality, legendary stuff. I'm probably because they don't drink that over there. They're going to drink now. I think the tables have turned. They probably drink all the cheap stuff and send all the expensive stuff to America because we will pay for it. And so we have a really amazing selection. Anyway, this particular wine that I'm going to show you tonight comes from just an incredible estate. I'm going to stop the share real quick and just kind of set the stage for you. We drove to the Alpha estate. It is way out there. And this is the view from the Alpha estate. This is a picture I took, and I took a ton of pictures. I wish it would oh, maybe it will let me show you a few. Um, but just the most untrampled on part of Greece, first of all. Very little. I mean, this is just miles of agriculture. And I love taking photos in this environment, and just the depth of it all, and it's not as cold as it looks. I mean, it was cold, but it was quite comfortable with a nice big down parka. And look at those vines. Those things are sleeping well, and we're talking about vines that are over 100 years old now. Just super, super place to visit. Wow, I'm glad I was able to do that. Um, that I've never really organized those photos, and I just pulled them all out by selecting them on the computer and asked them to extract. I thought they were going to come out one at a time and make it really challenging on me, but we were able to pull that off there. So let's get this first wine going. I'm going to go back into the PowerPoint. It is a blended wine with Syrah being the primary grape variety. So it's a Rhône blend. But the other grape is very important to Greece, and that is Xinomavro. And we're in Macedonia, really close to the border there. And I think that we were actually looking across the border from up there. And it's just really, really beautiful part of Greece. And we went so far out of the normal, you know, tour range. And I highly recommend that you do the same when you go to Greece. Everybody's in Athens. It was my least favorite part of Greece. Everything else in the countryside, in the mountains, the up near the ocean, the sea, and Thessaloniki. Uh, we went just all over Nassau. Really cool, really cool. Here's a look at the winery. We've got a lot of people watching this Zoom later tonight, and a few people coming in late. But a really nice group of people bought all these wines tonight. Hope you love them as much as I do. This winery was built by a couple of guys who loved wine. They were able to secure some very impressive investment. A winemaker has a degree from Bordeaux and built a sensational winemaking facility. It is got a lot of cutting edge ideas, especially for a winery that was built, I think it was built about 30 years ago now. And it's impressive to see what decisions they made and how everything's, gravity and lots of technology, really a forward-thinking idea all came together here. And this is not the normal in Greek winemaking. This was like, whoa, this is like you could have dropped this down in Bordeaux or dropped it down in Napa Valley, and it rivals it. It's significant in size. They've got all the winemaking spread out nicely, different levels. Now let's talk about the wine. 50 Syrah, 50 Xinomavro. Xinomavro on its own, which I love, especially when it's good. I have one that's very affordable that I actually really recommend people try if you're looking for a bottle of wine under 20 bucks. It's really decent, fun, and simple, light. Um, and then I have successive Xinomavro that climb the price ladder. It in its I think its best format is very similar to that of Nebbiolo. Maybe I would say instead of Barolo, I would say Barbaresco a little bit more. It's got incredible texture, tannin, and I think it's going to play really well with the Syrah here. And what I'm excited to taste these wines now is because I taste them right out of the bottle. We pour them. I just make sure they're okay. I'm not really able to contemplate them very much on Monday morning. It's a busy day, but we get them into the jars. My team's doing such a good job on the jars, and they we close those lids up really tight, and everything's been working out. I remember in the beginning days, we at once a Zoom, somebody would tell me that the jar leaked or there was a problem, and we've come so far away from that now. So if you ever have a problem, let me know because we haven't had a quality complaint on the jars for a long time. So want to make sure everybody's happy. Purple red color. Yeah, look at that. The color is super dark and extracted. I'd say Xinomavro, like Nebbiolo, is a little bit more brownish. So a lot of this color is coming from our Syrah skins. Vanilla, pepper, clove. Um, Always lots of black and blue fruits that are going to be noticeable. There's going to be a significant amount of vanilla um, from the wood. Here it is, little definitions of the grape variety Syrah. Tends to lean into the black pepper herbs, plum skins, and blackberries. And then the Xinomavro doesn't look like they have a lot of faith in Xinomavro in the definition. They don't even tell us what to expect. But I like the idea of focusing on um, kind of like an olive, green olive. Uh, um, Lots of tannin, lots of tension, lots of structure, much like a Nebbiolo. And I would even say that in the description. Here's a look at the winemaker and James Suckling's 91-point score. Chocolate, ripe cherries, blueberries, hints of mint on the nose, followed by body and juicy palate, full-bodied and juicy palate. Lovely creamy texture, 50% Syrah, 50 Xinomavro. There's a little bit of a medicinal mint edge on the note on the nose. I think I'm going to notice that all night long. Someone was telling me in my tasting group that mint is often found in the nose of Syrah. I'm like, really? Didn't I've never paid attention to that. It's definitely got that the nose is very, earth oriented, not quite as fruit drenched as some of the New World examples are going to be. You can almost smell that cold, snowy mountainside that I showed you pictures of. Lots of rock, lots of rock. Big mouthful of wine. Lots of fun. And this wine is leaning towards um, this is kind of like an entry level wine for this winery. They make it to be a nice ambassador, and they definitely have a lot of crossover. As the winemaker studied in Bordeaux, he makes some Cabernet, some Merlot, some different wines that you don't find throughout Greece. But he also makes real classic wines. I have a couple of them right now on the website, but this one's just more of a fun Greek blend. And at $25 a bottle, I think it's a really fun find. An Alpha estate is a must if you're going to Greece and you can get up into that part of the world. It's worth making that your destination. It is an incredible drive. It is such beautiful country to get to, and there aren't many other wineries that far out there, but it's not like a 8 hour drive or anything. It's like an hour away from Nassau. So definitely worth the drive. Hope you enjoyed our first wine and use the chat to tell us all about your thoughts there. I like it, James' comments about the mint, the chocolate, and the blue fruits. I think the tannin of the Xinomavros backing this thing up pretty smartly. Everything is texturally wonderful, and there's a really nice amount of length here and balance. A little chewy. That's the Xinomavro. Yeah, it's really great. All right, let's move on to wine number two. When you're talking about, top wines in the world, I think Australia, gets a little looked over because we try to oversimplify things so often. Oh, the best wine in Australia, Grange. Well, maybe not. Maybe it's Hill of Grace from Henschke. I bet you there's a lot of people that believe Hill of Grace is better than better than Grange. Um, Grange is about a $800 bottle of wine. Hill of Grace is about a $900 bottle of wine. We're not tasting that tonight. We're tasting Henry's Seven. This is an incredible brand. In fact, I need to break out of the slideshow one more time and show you something really cool. This family is the history of Australian wine, and I was invited to lunch with one of the Henschkes and the next generation, in fact, and he had some incredible pictures. And these were tough people back in the 1800s to be able to establish themselves. Look at the face on this guy, and look at that face right there. Wow, she was tough. Um, and to be able to survive and to, there were all kinds of issues from disease to war to uh, more disease, and certainly some challenges from the land itself and the populations, and so much uh, respect for uh, I mean, we're talking about, the wine country of Australia was established in the 1600s, and these guys came along late, 1868. But Cyril is the one who really was able to make the huge move and refinement at the right time, elevating the wines, elevating the reputations. And here's the current Henschkes that are running the place and have done an awesome job preparing it for these future custodians. And Johan was the gentleman we had lunch with, and he's the winemaker and viticulturist. And the wines are absolutely spot on, beautiful. So we're in Adelaide, or in around Adelaide and Barossa Valley. You've got Adelaide Hills. You've got Eden Valley, McLaren Vale. I believe this carries Barossa appellation right on the label. Barossa 2022, 150 years of heritage, 105 hectares, so about 250 acres of land that they steward. And there is the property that you're looking at, the photo of the sign is at the base of the Hill of Grace Vineyard. There's the hill. And it is a really special site. It's not all planted. They planted different expositions. This wine is blended with 11 Grenache, 6 Mataro, and 2 Viognier. Deep garnet with violet hues, bouquet of ripe plums, raspberries, blueberries, notes of blackberry, savory notes of black pepper, flowering herbs, fresh tarragon, bay leaf, lingering flavors, mulberry, and black pepper. There's that color again. You're not going to suffer, uh, um, with light colors with a Syrah based or Rhône based blend. Mataro, another word for Mourvèdre, by the way. So Syrah Grenache, Mourvèdre, Mataro. Oh my God, that nose is insane. And check out that bay leaf and that herbaceousness popping through there. Oh God, I love this. Don't have to drink it. I want to, but I don't have to. Um, and here's that blend 81 11 6 2, 93 points. Vibrant core of raspberry seed and bramble. Okay. Five spice. That's a cool one. And blood plum skin. In the mouth, the fruit is supple and spicy and expounds a brilliant clarity of tannin. Uh, does that say docile or ductile? Ductile. How do you pronounce that? Dutile? I don't know. You can help me later. Wimpy and delicious. Whippy and delicious. Sorry. It has a raspberry leaf tea and rose petal to close. There's are also pink peppercorns as per the usual. Okay, pink peppercorns usual in this one. This is gorgeous wine, no doubt. We can agree on the gorgeous wine part. Ah, man, that is just like there's so much savory popping through, and you can, I mean, just imagine this with the right, you know, whether it's a Santa Maria style barbecue, um, some lamb chops. Gosh, there's so much application here. And so that's the question I have for you. Just think about as we're presenting this. You're going out for dinner. They hand you the wine list. The brain automatically thinks, okay, red or white. Okay, red. Okay. What's the next question most human beings ask? Cabernet or Pinot Noir? When do you drink Syrah at a restaurant? Too few of us can even say we've done it. It's really sad that Syrah doesn't take a huge portion of the wine list up. And the price point value, I'm going to show you some wines tonight that really deserve to be placed on wine lists everywhere. Beautiful vineyard, beautiful land, great temperature for growing grapes. I was there. It's been a while now. It's since I was in Southern Australia. It was probably 2009 or 8, and we hit a heat wave there. Not even the kangaroo were coming out. It was so hot. This wine's $45. Top top brand in Australia. Teeny, Colty. I love carrying this wine. I sell 10 six-packs a year of this wine, but too few people buy them. Same customer comes back and buys a six-pack from me almost twice a year. I want to see more people buying this wine up. This is so fantastic. As good as that wine is in the nose, the mouth is equal. Voluminous. It has got great length, concentration, balance. Everything's there. Just keeps going. That fruit skin in the mouth really holds tight. It's not sweet, almost jammy, almost, but I think it that minerality and the acidity just holds it back. It's like someone about to jump off the cliff. You just get held up by that structure to hold you back from jumping off a cliff into the jammy world, which is which is okay. Jammy's okay in a sun-drenched part of the world, but this is more refined. Doesn't let it go into that voluptuous level. But it is concentrated enough. I really love this wine. I hope you guys are as well. I'm not seeing any chats though. I don't have any chatters tonight. Natalie, I'm so glad you could join us. Richard, you're going to give me some chats, aren't you? Mm, I'm loving that. I hope you guys do as well. We're off to a great start. We got to find out what kind of day today is too, because I do believe in the biodynamic calendar, but I don't know if it's changing the wine or changing me. And it is a yes on the biodynamic calendar. It is a fruit day. And that's why I'm tasting everything in so much volume here. Did you see that moon last night? Unbelievable big, what do they call it, a harvest moon, or there's a name for it. It's like it's got almost a pink tinge to it. It was it's like you could reach out and touch it. It was so magnificent. Fortunately, I was driving and I couldn't take a picture, but I wanted to. All right, we're moving on. But wow, that I'm gonna be taking that one out for dinner soon. Every once in a while, I always tell people this too. I love teaching and hosting these programs because I'll have a vendor come in, Camins to Dream. They'll come in. Hey, good to see you guys. Taste their wine. Oh, that's really good. Compared to what? And being able to taste all these wines next to each other at one time really helps me and helps me see things with, better eyes through my wood frame glasses. Wine number three is Camins to Dreams, a teeny little producer that I just fell in love with this wine. I bought it once, I bought it twice. I went back and I said, give me everything you got. So I'm down to like my last three to four cases, but we're talking a big shipment of wine for a teeny brand. And we featured these guys a couple of times in different Zooms. Um, that I haven't probably used this wine in a Zoom in over 2 years. So this was the first time I had tried this wine in almost a year. And I smiled when I opened it because I knew this wine would get better and better and better. And it's still coming. Um, Santa Barbara, Santa Rita Hills, almost no introduction needed. These guys are just hard work. The couple, two ladies, they they're just a hardworking team. Right, their tasting room is right next to where Greg Brewer makes his wine, the same building. It's kind of like a, they call it the wine ghetto in Lompoc. There's a prison nearby, so everything's safe. And the wine ghetto is just a really high functioning industrial park, nothing sexy, but it's just the two of them. They don't have, tasting room salespeople or assistant winemakers. They do everything themselves, everything. They don't grow their own grapes, they buy fruit. And this is from Zotovich. Zotovich is like one of the top growers in Santa Rita Hills. What makes Zotovich special, if you look down into that those leaves and stuff, you might see that soil. It's diatomaceous earth. Sorry. It's diatomaceous earth, and it is really a prevalent feature in wines made from Zotovich. The minerality just kind of, whoa, there's something extra special there. And the diatomaceous earth is a very important factor. Um, it's basically like decomposed. Uh, um, the way it was explained to me, and someone could correct me too. Diatomaceous earth has got like a lot of like fish bones and sea components, not necessarily like limestone, but a little bit more solids. And so this part of Santa Rita Hills has got a lot of that going on, and it's very prevalent in this particular vineyard. This is 100% Syrah, blueberry, white pepper, spices, violets, lavender. Again, Syrah, tannic, earthy wines, big, bold flavors, dark, deep color. Black currant, black pepper, and violet. When you smell that, I think that soil, it's almost like a dark, cakey clay with gray streaks kind of going throughout it. I think you smell that right away, and you get this beautiful um, combination of fruit and earth. Mm, it's exotic. It's beautiful, making my mouth water. Come on. That is so good. You know, when we got started doing these Zooms, we were working with wineries that would want to do the Zoom. So they'd come to us and we'd find wines and find ways to keep the price a little bit more restrained. Today we're we're really having to, watch the cost of the Zoom. The cost of these jars has doubled since we started. The packing materials, the shipping. So, if you watch every penny, you might be able to keep the Zoom cost under 30 bucks. But with elevating the wine, around 40 bucks, $10 more, you're getting so much more quality in the wines. And this one is just killing it for me. I love this bottle of wine. This is like quintessential Santa Barbara, quintessential Zotovich wine for me. This is such a treasure. And I think it's very fairly priced. That's kind of those are white grape varieties, but you could see the fog in the background on this picture, and that might be 3 in the afternoon in Santa Barb in Santa Rita Hills, as the hot temperatures start to almost act like a vacuum, warming up the soils and the earth, and it starts to move this cool air in off the ocean, and it comes pulling through Santa Rita Hills, and it's really dramatic. 45 bucks. I have 30 as of the day that we made this video or this slideshow, which was probably a good couple of weeks ago. And I don't sell a lot of this wine. People keep coming back for it, but uh, I I I have sold a lot of it over the years, and I am going to now pull a few bottles out of this collection for my own personal library because I still think this wine is, I won't say 10 more years, but I think for the next five, this is really going to be a joyful ride, and I love what it's doing right now. This Saturday, wine camp class I started back in the 1997 era. I've taught this class to over 100,000 people. When we got started, we were working with Vaughn's Pavilions pretty quickly, teaching to audiences larger than 100 people. And we were doing it often. And then I got involved with community colleges, and I've had my own class every month, sometimes two and three wine camps. In 2009, the economy really had a downturn with the recession. And remember Groupon? We put Wine Camp on Groupon in the very beginning when all they did is feature one item a day. We sold 5,000 wine camps in one day. I had to teach wine camp over 100 times in the next year. We were teaching it sometimes twice on Saturday and Sundays, but that paid our way to get through a very difficult economic moment. But wine camp is still my favorite class to teach, and I think everybody should take it. It's We've had some crazy stuff happen at wine camp. LA Times attended a wine camp I did in Beverly Hills, and the famous wine doctor, that's too complimentary, a wine counterfeiter, Rudy K. You might have seen my face in the movie Sour Grapes, because was very involved with Rudy in the very beginning days. He was a very nice and generous man. Really, really took great care of me. A very wealthy young man from Asia came in and made everybody his friend. He was having lunch soon after I introduced him to wine. He was having lunch with Robert Parker and all the elites, James Suckling, and everybody. He got to everybody, and then he would invite everybody to his after parties after the big tastings, and you'd see all the winemakers there. Anyway, Rudy was sitting at my wine class. I was wearing Gucci loafers. He was wearing Gucci loafers, and the writer for LA Times was wearing Gucci loafers. So she coined it the Gucci of wine classes. Been super involved. This is the moment we plan a lot of trips, and people don't realize that it's my wife and I that do the trips, and we are working super hard right now getting all the details. We're about to post the Napa trip. I put some estimates up that are reasonable, but once I post that trip, it probably will be less expensive, but Napa is expensive. And we're staying at a really nice hotel, and the trip will include dinner at the French Laundry. Oregon, I am so close to being finished with Oregon. The price is on the website, and I've got the coolest companies working with us, driving us in a big, beautiful van. The best wineries. We're having lunch at Antica Terra. Really hard place to get wine from. I can't, they won't let me buy their wine. They're sold out of wine. But when they do lunch, they compare the great wines of the world to theirs. And so they have like Grand Cru Burgundy next to their Pinot from Oregon. So that's what we'll be doing at lunch at Antica Terra. We'll also have lunch at another one of the best wineries, Bergstrom. And another one of the best wineries is joining us for dinner, Halocene. So we've got some killer appointments in Oregon, and it's quite affordable. So the antithesis of Napa is Oregon. Also adding to the calendar, I'm starting to talk about it out loud, is I'm going to take a day trip from LA to Ojai, and we've got some killer appointments already set up. We're going to start in the morning at Ojai Vineyard, a legendary vineyard with a legendary winemaker. And then we're going to end up at one of the coolest new places no one's ever seen it. It's called Ojai Mountain. And this place is jaw-dropping, 3,000 feet in elevation. And we'll have lunch in Ojai. It's a nice day. You can either meet me in Ojai, so you can make a little trip out of it, and I'll drive in, you get on the van with us, or you can van up with me because we'll take a van up from downtown LA, and that'll be fun. Corsica and Sardinia are just weeks away from being priced, and we've been working hard on the trip to Kent and to Champagne. We, it says Paris there, but it's Champagne and Kent, England, a quest for bubbles. Wine number four. All right. First of all, when I started this program, the Syrah program, we we didn't know that Todd would be featured in the New York Times, and so his wines just got eradicated. Um, Todd Alexander is an incredible winemaker. I now have 14 of his wines in our store. I was one of his earliest customers, and he makes wines for Force Majeure. Halocene is one of his, and that's where we're going to go see him in Oregon. And there's other projects as well that he is the winemaker for. He's a consultant for hire. He's got his own brand now in France too, in Maori, and that's in the kind of the Roussillon area and Languedoc-Roussillon. So Force Majeure is in Washington, and when you look at the border of Washington and and with Oregon, the Columbia Valley is massive, and it swoops down all the way into basically across the Oregon border. Todd Alexander, winemaker, he has since left in the last year. He left Force Majeure, but that's because his own brands are taken off, and he moved half of the year he's in France. So these Force Majeures are his until 2024. Um, but I started telling you about that path down that path because I was planning on showing you a 2018 version of this wine. Um, Someone came in and swooped up everything. I had sent a couple of bottle kits out with the 18 already. So if you got bottle kits, you've got the 18, but we are completely gone on the 18. So we're tasting the new, it's current 2021, uh, which is a little different blend, but we'll talk about that here in just a second. Here's a look at the vineyard. Look at that pruning system they've got there. One cane, one vine. No, this is the way they grow the vines in many of the top vineyard areas of the world, Mosul. Um, Lots of work, but optimal when you're talking about sunshine and you don't want to have shadows and you want, great airflow. 75 Syrah, 15 Mourvèdre, 5 Cinsault, 5 Counois. The 2018 is much more Mourvèdre driven than this wine. There's our varietal composition again. Counois being added, a little bit of peppery elements, lighter skin, soft perfume from the Cinsault. Mourvèdre always adds a really unique twist. It says gamey. And then the Syrah, they all work well together. They're all great friends. They're like a band. Here's Todd, 95 points. Jeb Dunnick on this wine right here. Um, let's go right into the levels of red and black fruits, as well as peppery herbs, violets, some meaty, spicy background nuances. It says here it will evolve for 10 to 15 years, and I totally believe that. The 2018's got a couple of years on this, about 3 years more advancement. It's going to be pretty sexy. The good news for the 18ers, you got that going for you. Good news for us drinking the 2021. I did an event a couple of months ago called Rhône Warriors, and the wineries came that made Rhône wines, and all the customers came in, and we gave the each customer one vote to pick their favorite wine. There were 22 wineries, each of them pouring between 3 and 5 wines each. So over 100 wines in the room, and by a large margin, the this wine won that tasting. By the way, I did oversell this event a little bit, and what I did is I took the people that got the bottle kits, I sent them each a little teeny vial of this wine so they could taste it with us. Um, so I got just the slightest, smallest little pour there, but you get all that cocoa nib. It's much more youthful than the other wines that we've been tasting tonight, because these wines are really made for the cellar. And if you just let your mouth sit there for a minute, you can feel the firmness, the tension, your mouth kind of tightening up, some real wonderful tannins. There is still a youthfulness in the way the wine presents itself. Lots of vanilla, lots of that chocolate cacao nib, and the fruit's kind of still over here. It really hasn't all kind of completely harmonized yet, like we saw with the Henschke, or even the wine from Santa Barbara, the Camins de Dreams. Really kind of all these individual characteristics, kind of figuring out where they're going to melt together. And this wine, they're still kind of individual, but that day will come soon, and that it will just truly shine. Uh, and even with a little, I mean, this wine doesn't even smell like it was decanted. That's how youthful this wine is. It's just a powerful. It's got a little bit of a youthful, almost greenness because there's some stem inclusion here. It was some of the Syrah being done whole cluster. That's why this wine's a pretty long-term buy and hold. You can enjoy it now, obviously, but it really has better days ahead. 50 bucks, 95 points, force majeure. It's a brand to pay attention to. I have a couple of wines from them on the website usually, but that article kind of wiped me out, and I called the winery, and they don't have a lot of stock either. So we'll be waiting for the 22s to be released, and then you'll see a few more coming in. Moving on to wine number 5 from Spain, Alto Moncayo. This is the Veraton, which there are different wines from this brand. This is a Grenache brand. Uh, a while back, we did a session, and this has got the video in there. I'm not intending to play the video tonight, but this is Chris Ringlin. I will send everybody that is watching this a copy of the video, or you can go to Merchant of Wine on YouTube and find this video with Chris Ringland on Alto Moncayo. We had a nice 20-minute conversation. There's Chris. Here's of Spain. And great man, great wines. He is a 100-point winemaker from Australia and makes Syrah wines in Australia, very famous ones. And he got contacted by a group in Spain saying, Chris, we've got some 80-plus-year-old vines growing Grenache. We'd love to have you come and look at it, see if what you think you would do with it. Because, you're making wine in Australia in March and April. How about you come to Spain in October and make some Grenache? That was in 2002. And today, this brand is absolutely one of the most thought of Garnacha powerhouses in Spain. 226, 27 acres of vines. There are more vines than people in this part of Spain. It is vast. It is so able to take care of the wine needs of the world. Unfortunately for Spain, a lot of the next generations kind of move away from Spain, and so they have their issues there. Um, but it's a great place to make wine for sure. 100% Grenache, deep red with a scarlet rim, chocolate black fruits, balsamic notes. Let's check it out. Just by looking at it, you can see that black, fleshy, dense character in the glass. The nose is warm. There's quite a bit of ripeness here, quite a bit of warmth. Grenache, we've just tasted 4 Syrahs in a row, so giving us a little bit of a moment to adjust to Grenache. Grenache, when it's planted in France, can have this very earthy, almost garden-like character. Um, it is a thinner skinned grape, um, but it has it can really create a lot of flavor. It's kind of one of those wines that quite honestly, isn't always this dark, but because they're working with old vines and low yields, and he is master of extracting everything from the berry. You got something pretty dark and heavy, lots of ripeness and richness here. Chris is a big man. You saw his face. He's not going to make little wimpy wines. He's going to make some serious arm wrestlers, and this is one of them. Plush with lots of sweet fruit character, mouth coating, yes, yet lustrous tannins, creamy with a long, persistent, flavorful finish. Super pleasurable, dense. There's there's fleshiness here that's I think takes a lot of people by surprise. It's a big format. This is the what is that Spinal Tap? Turn it up to 11. That's where we're at. Look at these little almost like golf course vineyards, little pockets. $37. Um, really a lot of wine. And gosh, when this wine got started in those early days, I'm sure it was half as much as it is today, but still a relative value for such a highly thought of brand. You're going to get this type of wine every single time from Alto Moncayo. And this is the 2001, which is current, just reloaded. We've sold through this wine a couple of times. So whatever you see on the inventory, if we sell out of this wine tonight, we'll be getting more. I'm never afraid to just roll into the next vintage either. This is a very trustworthy brand. There are different iterations. He makes one that's somewhere in the $150 range. He makes one that's in the $65 range. He makes this one. And there's a new kind of a little less expensive, maybe $20 version, which I haven't yet tried, nor I just plan on carrying this one. This one or the one above it. The one above it's a little harder to get. All right. We're at the final wine of the night, but we always finish strong. And this is Helen Keplinger. Helen is one of the great winemakers in the Napa Valley. She'll be getting an invitation from me soon to join us in our travels when we go to Napa. I'm not sure where we're going to go yet, but we have very high ambitions. And so we're going to be seeing some pretty special places. If you want an ultra exciting trip to the Napa Valley, please come with us and sign up on the interest list. I think we finally got rid of we were having problems with robots signing up on our free interest lists. I woke up one day with over 7,000 signups in one night because we had the robots came and the same email address and everything. It was crazy. So we finally got rid of that. So you can sign up for free on the interest list, I believe. Maybe Napa's taking a deposit now, but I can't recall. But it's we've secured the hotel. We're going to stay in Yountville. We're going to be able to walk to the French Laundry, and we've got so much more to establish. So this wine is made by Helen in the Napa Valley, but she's using really important fruit. Uh, so we're not looking at the right bottle. Here it is. The wine's called Sumo. And this is the wine that caught my attention maybe 10 years ago. Uh, I knew Helen was a great winemaker. She worked for Heidi Barrett, but before she came to the Napa Valley, she was making wines in Priorat and in the Rhône. And so she knows a thing or two about Syrah, but she also knew she probably wasn't going to become real successful financially if she just focused on Syrah. So of course she makes some great Cabernet, and she made it with Heidi Barrett. And she worked at a lot of those fancy places, and recently, in fact, replaced Heidi as the winemaker now at Kenzo. So, and there's a lot of story out there about why Heidi's not the winemaker at Kenzo anymore. But let's check out this wine. We'll stay on task. Keplinger Sumo. This is from Amador County, Gold Country, Shake Ridge Vineyard. Everybody knows this vineyard that makes wine, makes Syrah, Shake Ridge, Amador, very important old vine. Now, what's interesting about this wine is this is the one wine that turns the corner and goes into other Rhône varietals, such as Petite Sirah, aka de Rif, also a Rhône variety made to add color to wines in the Rhone Valley, but when planted in California, takes on an incredible character. 83% Petite, 10 Syrah, and 7 Viognier. So this also uses a little Viognier to help some exotic aromas. Now, in the world of dark colored wines, this may be the darkest wine ever made. And what I love about Helen is, and Petite Sirah can be crazy, cool, and fun, but can also be just an absolute stubborn bastard grape and will never relent. But Helen can tame Petite Sirah and give it gentleness and roundness and creaminess and texture and dimension. There's some old school Petite Sirah wines out there that you could buy, put them in your cellar. 25 years later, they're still young and still they're not going to bend. I think I got more slides to go through before I get too crazy here. But she went around California and bought some Syrah from some top sites. She buys some from our friend Lee Hudson at Hudson Vineyard. She buys some Syrah from here in Amador. I think she's making even now something from Central Coast. Um, she's so this is kind of her Syrah brand. And she gives each of them different names like Mars and Sumo and other things. So here's a look at Shake Ridge. How cool is that? Oh boy. If you were trying to keep your teeth white, you're about to lose the battle. The joke about Petite Sirah is they say it was the original Bluetooth technology. There's the line right there, and it changes the lithic. There's no picture of Mars there. The Sumo, dense nose with aromas of intense blackberry, white flower, black peppercorn, bittersweet chocolate, juniper berry, lead pencil, silky dense and rich entry with sweet and savory components. Fine tannins with flavors of bittersweet chocolate, graphite, blackberry, bramble, and juniper. That said, bestseller for 6 months, but we've already done some of that work for you. This is a 2021. 21 was what she called the greatest vintage for Syrah ever in the state of California. And and so I took note. She got some big scores. Let's take a look. 95 points on this one right here. There's Helen, UCLA grad. When before she started in wine, she was helping us at Learn About Wine back in the 1990s. Been watching her rise all the way to the top. She is definitely the cream of the Napa Valley. Another shot of the vineyard. A lot of very fancy wines make wine from this vineyard. This one achieves a higher price of 85 bucks. It's a monument. Wow. I can't tell you, um, unless you taste this wine, you just don't, you can't get it. There's just words are just words because this one achieves like almost like another dimension. You can feel this wine, you can smell this wine, and you can hear me singing about it. It really achieves something special in the glass, the nose, the mouth. Dense is just not uh, getting to the point fast enough. It's so weighted and so um, um, beautiful, though. Don't can you know as I was describing it, can you see what I'm talking about? She's taking so much information and such a powerful wine, and yet making it so pleasurable and balanced and texture crazy great. I'll let you guys speak, and hopefully you guys will come out and talk to me a little bit more. We talked about the trip I'm going to do to Oregon, but next week we're doing a Zoom on Oregon, and if you're inside of the LA zone, I'm going to send you one of these glasses so you can taste with us next Wednesday if you sign up. Got a couple of kits before we sell out, but everybody that signs up in Los Angeles will get a glass delivered with their kit, one per kit. The wine list is crazy great. In fact, just got our new allocation of something here, so I'm going to show you the wine list. We're going to go from Big Table Farm, great little Chardonnay from Willamette, to a great little Pinot Noir from Evening Land. One of my favorite wines in the store right now, the Christome. A wine with a great story, the Freedom Hill. Um, Definitely a legendary family. There's the Halocene wine, the Acrafa 96 pointer will be next week, and a wine made by Maggie Harrison from Antica Terra. We're going to finish with a Syrah again because the tasting next week is Oregon, and she makes a Syrah for charity up in Oregon, and she was the winemaker at Sinquanon, so she knows a thing or two about Syrah. And we're gonna be at her winery on that trip. We're gonna go. Let's see. We're gonna go here, here, and here for sure. Unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to go to Big Table Farm, but we'll probably drink some wine on the trip from there. And maybe Evening Land will get back to me and I'll figure that out. But I hope you guys enjoyed the wines. Let me know what your favorites were. Richard was number 6 too much. Looks like Richard's gone. That go over the top.
Yeah, just didn't enjoy number 6 as much as all the others. And I think I just like the Syrah better than Petite Syrah. Maybe I'm just used to it. But it's very enjoyable, a lot of fun.
Good.
Yes, it was interesting.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that last one is like, I mean, it's something. It's not for everybody because there's so much information in that glass. Natalie, you liked 4, 5, and 2. Great to have you with us. Thank you so much. I hope your friend is getting the kits okay out there in your neighborhood. She watches after, right?
Yep, she does.
Okay.
Doesn't work out on Wednesday nights, but she gets to enjoy them later.
All right. Well, thank you for introducing us to her.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Lisa, I hope you're doing well. Your Giants are doing great.
I know. You want to place any side bets for Friday? Let me know.
Ooh,
Mm.
we could do that. Yeah, we could have fun.
Mm.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. My Dodgers, I couldn't play much worse since the All-Star break. And then the last 3 games, they threw 2 almost no-hitters and a perfect game yesterday. Kind of crazy.
I know.
The pitching's waking up. Shohei's waking up. Betts is waking up. But no, I think we came all the way back to the field. It's gonna make it we're all Dodger fans are gonna maybe lose a little bit of hair, but I think it's gonna be a great end of the season with so many teams contending. Nobody knows what's gonna happen, and I think I much prefer that. I hate it when the Dodgers are 10 games out in front and they're just coasting and not taking it seriously. Now they got to play
Yeah.
another day, so I enjoy it. It's fun.
Well, thank you.
Pleasure, guys. You take care. We'll talk soon, and we'll chat bets on.
Okay. Cheers.
Take care, guys. Bye. Thanks, Natalie.